Hey, me and John, my business partner, if you don't know, just recently wrapped up our very first masterclass, which was amazing. It was such a phenomenal experience. I really enjoyed it. We had far fewer people opt in than I expected, which ended up being kind of a blessing in disguise because we just had this really intimate group. There were 31 people, and it was really cool to just have the ability to connect with folks that closely for that. It was an 8-day class. It was long, and everybody showed up. It was unbelievable. But one of the things that came up in the masterclass that I thought was really interesting that I don't feel we've ever addressed enough is the single biggest ongoing mistake in the realm of PPC. So what I wanted to do is share with you what it is, how to avoid it, and then how to test for it and check on an ongoing basis. And I was going to create my own resource, but I have either a bad habit or a good habit, depending on how you think of it, of scanning the interwebs just to see if somebody else has already done it so I don't have to do it. And there was a piece of me as a young entrepreneur that felt like I needed to have everything and it was all mine and I created it and I pushed it out, and I'm sort of a different temperament now. Like if it's out there and it's good enough, then I'm just going to send you somebody else's content. So I'm about to reference a content network that I'm not always in full agreement with. However, this particular piece of content is phenomenal, just so you know. So kudos and props to them. They do a lot right, and this is one of them. Before I get to it, though, I'm going to share with you what it is that I'm talking about so we're on the same page and I stop being cryptic and annoying. Conversion tracking. The biggest mistake that I see across all campaigns, professionals and amateurs alike, we evaluate, it's got to be 100 million campaigns by now. We evaluate a lot of campaigns, and the biggest mistake on an ongoing basis is broken conversion tracking, inadequate conversion tracking, non-existing conversion tracking, reporting on false positives, which is maybe the worst thing you can do because you just send the $1 trillion AI engine off in the wrong direction. Conversion tracking that was intact, but then, for whatever reason fell off. And that happens all the time, incidentally. We have a standard operating procedure inside of our agency to check conversion tracking once a month at an absolute minimum, and that's for like small, very simple, smaller spend campaigns, and then more often for accounts that are more robust, have a kind of more multifaceted tech stack, higher spend, etc. You have to utilize conversion tracking properly, obviously, install it properly, and then make sure that it stays up to date, because there are, the minute your CMS makes an update or, weird code degradation or installing a plugin, or there's so many reasons your conversion tracking can just fall off. And what's really interesting too is, as often as not, we don't know why it happened. We just know that it happened, and then we go to fix it, which it stems from the fact that we're not developers, we're Google Ads folks. And outside, if it keeps happening, obviously you want to get down to the root cause, but for the most part, you just want to make sure that your conversion tracking is working. So please invest in making sure that your conversion tracking is up and running, and then make sure that you have some level of repetitive go to OK Relax. It's a really cool company that, I think you pay them $30 a month and they do 5 tasks for you for $30. That could be one of them. Just double check that my conversion tracking is running. And then when you're tracking conversions, you want to reconcile against one other kind of third-party software, and it doesn't have to be third-party per se. Like we use Google Ads and Analytics just to make sure that things are calibrated and more or less aligned. So here's this great article I found from WordStream, and it hurts my heart to say that a little bit because there's some stuff they say that I just don't agree with. They sort of kind of take Google's side too often, to be frank, but they've got some phenomenal processes and some really good content. So here's what I like is, what I wanted to give you, what I wanted to write for you was like the triage, the conversion tracking triage. And WordStream not only had it, but they kind of came up with more than I even thought of, which was really cool. So kudos and props to Susie Marino. I went and looked at some of her other articles, by the way, and she's really, I like following authors instead of content networks. I just really like what she has to say, and a lot of what she puts out there I think is really interesting, so she's worth following. She did have, I noticed that they say that monthly ad spend limits have rolled out. I haven't seen these in any accounts, so if you have, as a quick aside, comment at me please, because we've got 140 accounts, and I opened up like, I don't know, when they made this announcement, at least a dozen, and I didn't see it where they said it was supposed to be seen. So that aside, I'm going to link to this article in the description of this video. But what I really like about it is they go through, or Susie goes through, the most common pitfalls and then offers remediation, not knowing what to track, no conversion data or low conversion rates. Conversion data seems off. Need to remove or add a conversion. Conversion action unclear. No recent conversions or tag inactive. That tag inactive thing, that's a killer, by the way. New landing page or old conversion tracking setup. Conversions just poof fell off, which happens. So what's really cool about this article, and you know why I'm getting lazy and I'm just throwing you at this instead of creating it myself, is because I mean she already did all the work, and I really like what she had to say. That's the other thing. So it's not as though she's identified the primary fail points, but then marches off in another direction. I like that she's using Google Ads for conversion tracking instead of using Google Analytics and just importing data. And then she also references, I forget where it is because I just read through this, but she references tools like Google Tag Assistant, which are really cool and very helpful. She references utilizing GTM, using Google Analytics as a reconciliation tool. I really loved this one too. So conversion action unclear. She tells you go through your customer value journey. What did she link to, by the way? Oh, it's another WordStream article. Of course it is. I wonder if they stole DM's CVJ. Not really. Good for them. Okay, so they just went funnel based. That's fine. But I agree with her paradigm. I agree with her approach, and I think this is one of those articles that you could keep bookmarked and just make sure you're constantly checking. Throw it at a VA. Constantly checking your conversion tracking is properly set up. There's nothing wrong with it, and because this is what your entire paid ad strategy depends on. Without tracking conversions, you're running the digital form of radio ads. You're just blasting content out into the ether and hoping that people catch it and then show up. And by the way, sometimes that works, sadly, much to my dismay because I can't make any money off of it. But you don't want to do that. You're wasting money. You're wasting the ability to optimize, etc. So, biggest mistake anybody's ever made in the realm of paid advertising. The number one mistake, by a freaking long shot, y'all. By there's not even a close second or third. I'll say that on sales calls. I'll be like, if you do nothing else but fix your conversion tracking, you might not even need me because who knows? Google might just take this and run with it. And that's the other thing too. And this is what will put me out of a job in I don't know what. 3 to 5 years, if I'm being optimistic. Once you have conversion tracking set up, Google can get you there. And I'm simplifying the problem because you still have to know, how to build campaigns, optimize campaigns, etc. But once you have conversion tracking set up, some of the recommendations that Google makes are sound. There's, third-party products that you can add. There's overlays that can utilize the data that you're getting. And especially if you have a big spend, man, you can just throw money at that and let Google optimize its way into efficacy. And I've seen that work. So that's all I got. I'm going to link to this article as I promised. Like, comment, subscribe. Would love your input on this topic. Hope you all don't mind me being lazy. I set out to create this in my research, found something better, so I'm just going to give you what they have. I'll stop apologizing. Thanks for watching.